it's rougher than a cob out here this morning. 2 days ago, it blew out of the northwest, almost 40 miles an hour. 2 days later, it's blowing out of the east, 20 plus. The current is wicked right now. The whole lake is flipped right back over. And I'm having a hard time getting a blade bait to run in it. It keeps tangling and flopping over, so I just said, okay, I'll switch over to a shiver minnow. They don't foul, you know. So my first cast, just now, my third jig, I feel thumpity thump thump, and look at this little guy. He's like, yes sir, I'll have it. What a beautiful little guy. But it immediately validates my thought process that they're going to want something that you can fish faster than a blade. This kind of a bait, you can really snap it nonstop and just keep right on reeling it. I've got 4 bags out right now in this wind, and I'm controlling it too, but I'm at like 0.7 to 0.9. And so I'm fishing this thing fast already. This is the full chandelier mode. This has got a tail flapper and the bladed treble, and it's red and orange because this water's already. Yesterday I had 10 foot of visibility out here. Today I've got 3. Keep my cast a little bit shorter so I've got better contact with the bottom. Which, let's see, we're rocking and rolling today. There's threes. Yeah, threes and 4s. You know, but they're only 10 feet apart. It's crazy. Man. So that wind just shifted a little bit. So now it sends the boat, which stays perpendicular to the wind, cross current and cross chop. So now all of a sudden you start doing what one of my old captains, Captain Ron Clark, used to say on Lake Ontario when it was gnarly out there. He'd be like, it's going Maytag. And that's when you had, without having a set wave pattern, you had all this in between stuff. So the whole place was going like this as opposed to going like this in sequence. He used to call that going Maytag, like a washing machine. It's Maytag right now. All right, I'll be back if I catch another one. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna laugh at me again. Dun dun dun! This is probably the greatest 6-inch walleye in the history of 6-inch walleye. Much better than any other 6-inch walleye that you may have ever seen. Look at that little face. Oh, he's so cute. I was right at the crescendo moment of a thought because I'm out here drifting along I feel like a piece of driftwood. Just bobbing along in the waves. And just at the moment where I thought, you know, the whole process coming together and, you know, the rabbit kind of coming all the way back around, that fish hit. Kind of woke me up, startled me. I'm like, whoa, hey, there we go. Funny how that happens. I'd like him to be a touch bigger, you know, like 20 inches bigger, but hey, I digress. I don't want to, not trying to be greedy or nothing, but a few here and there would be nice. Just saying. I'll let you know when the next thing happens. Until then, sayonara. I'm out here hold on. All right, I said hold on. The 3-bagger right now. I've got a double deployed right there and another single up off a makeshift bow mount. Keeps me nice and straight. 188 DC Pro. It's like a suction cup on the water. Very stable. Right down the center line especially, as we stand here in our purple Crocs. You can walk right up through, like there. But this center line is the place to be. Very stable, comfortable to jig right in the trough. Beautiful out here today though. The Witch of November. Haven't heard much shooting this morning. I would have thought the ducks would have been flying. Alright. Talk to you guys in a few. You guys are gonna laugh, alright? So I'm sitting here again, I'm completely zoned out. You know, I already got the bags out, so I don't feel like pulling them back in and go running around. Whatever, it's rough. I'm just kind of out here chilling out, and I'm thinking in my head, and I'm like, what is going on? You know, why am I not catching fish? This is ridiculous. If you look on my graph, it's a you know, I like waypoints, and I'm drifting through thousands of waypoints, all different color-coded time of the year, you know, whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? I'm just not catching fish like I am used to for me lately. And I'm sitting there in my head singing, I suck at fishing. And there's a little guy in there pointing at me, and I'm going, no, come on, man, give me a break. And he says it again. He goes, I suck at fishing. And I'm like, dude, that's not cool. And he goes, I suck at fishing. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking, now this is all happening inside my head. And I'm looking at the guy who's saying it to me and singing in my head going, and I'm like, I don't suck at fishing. Boom. I'm like, oh, there's one. This is what came up. So, the minute I see that, because my no I don't pushback stopped the voice instantly, I did my thing. By the time I see it, I go, oh. And I hear, I suck at fishing. And I'm like, come on. Oh my God. Whatever. I don't suck at fishing. Fish suck at eating my lure. So, I'll be back. All right, well, we're back. One cast later, and I started singing the song again, and boom, there he was. Well, at least he's in the mouth, and at least he's a little bigger, and I'm all right with that. Look at that progress. We're working our way up. Here we go, boys. We're on our way. Rally cap would be on. If I could turn this around, I'm not gonna, but let's just, you know, theoretically between all of us say that the rally cap is now on. Hello! Oh, and for all of you out there, I don't know what just made me think of this. My buddy Mike the other day, my old Army buddy, we're on a speaker call with a third part, you know, the third wheel in our peg here, and I said something about the channel, and Mike cuts me off, and he goes, no, Kurt, he goes, he's underselling it quite a bit. He goes, it's great. He goes, it's like you're out in the boat with him every day, and he goes, it's really quite entertaining. And I sat there and I'm looking at Mike, and I go, and I'm thinking in my head, mind you, this is the same man who picked me up from the hospital on base after I had surgery, picked me up in a wheelchair, took me somewhere. We had to go to the store or something before we went back to the barracks. I'm talking to you guys. Nobody can resist JJ McPuffin loving stuffing. This one. Nobody can resist this. Whoa, hold on. Here he comes back again. This is the same guy that picked me up from the hospital. We had to go to the grocery store or something. Gets me in a wheelchair in the grocery store and starts running me into stuff in the aisleways, like banging me into shit. Now I'm in a lot of pain still. And he runs me into the end of the corner of it, like throws me on the ground. And I fall down, I'm laughing. We're dying laughing so hard. And this little old lady looks at him. She goes, you should be ashamed of yourself what you did. And I died. We've been lifelong friends ever since. We were before that, but that was like that was the highlight of it. So that man said to another one of our friends that he was doing a good job. I'm like, oh my God. I was like the Grinch. My heart swelled 3 times, you know. It was funny. It was fun and funny. The things you think about when you're just kind of out here mindlessly jigging, bobbing along. All right, I'll be back. I just hung up with you guys. And then I thought of something I forgot. And I was like, no, you're schmoopy. And then I raised my rod tip and I felt something. I'm like, oh my God. And my friend Don Birdie would say, that's like when your proctologist is Dr. Vinny Boombots. Right in the old, I'm sorry for this. I don't know you that well, but sorry. Thanks for the memory. I'm still in the same drift, but it's been, 20 minutes, I guess. And I've waded through a ton of 4 and 5 inchers, walleyes and perch. This is the first semi-decent one I've had. I'd say perfect drift at this point. Not bad at all. 0.5, 0.6. We'll see. I got to run into them sooner or later. They got to be here feeding. All right, welcome back. Let's get this thing wrapped up like a Christmas present. So this is your standard outro. We're going to make a few casts. Make a little love. Get down tonight. So I got 3 rods that were out in the rack today. So we'll do a cast or 2 with each. and see if anybody bites right at the end. If they don't, I'm getting out of here. My guts feel like scrambled eggs. Woo. Woo. Oh, and if any of these rods get bit, then that buys them an extra cast. So theoretically, if the fish cooperate, I can stay out here all day. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I simply live by. I'm just a little wheel in the big cog of life. Maybe that's the other way around. I'm just a little cog in the big wheel of life. Floating along, singing my song. Whoa. Whoa. The problem is once you lose your balance, man, you're all over the place. Then all of a sudden it's like doink. And you just stand there and you're like, oh, it's not bad. Moving along, singing a song. So let's talk politics a little bit. Oh! Oh! Oh, you little oh, I saw him right there. Oh my God, I leaned forward on my seat like this. So I'm leaned up against my seat, see? Just for stabilization. And I'm throwing, so this is a drop shot rig. So this is one of those VMC spin shots. So it spins around your line. So I Texas rigged it on a worm hook, because with just a regular drop shot hook, I was having a lot of them do this on the tail. So I figured maybe if I got a hook point that was back a little farther, they'd come up and take it. Well, just as I saw this starting to come up, as I was just reeling it in, I saw that big gold flash right behind it when that walleye come up and swirled right below it. That was awesome. That was cool. All right, well, I'm going to count that as a bite. All right, and so we're getting another cast. I don't want to hear any, come on, let's go. No, no, no. That was close enough. And the cool factor alone, like you don't see stuff like that very often. All I'm doing with this, though, is I've got a heavy drop shot weight on, and I'm dragging it on the bottom right back to me. So I'm swimming it like it's a swim bait. It's swimming through the water, but I have constant bottom contact, so I'm controlling exactly where it's going through the water column. Now, you know, theoretically, you could stretch that lead below the weight as far out as you want it. And continue off a set way off the bottom. You know, I've been anywhere from 6 inches to 2 feet. All right, well, nobody came back and ravenously ate it, so going back in the rod locker. All right, next up on the parade of homes, parade of lures. JJ McPuffin loving stuffing your mom. Your mom. Shiny and new. I didn't come aboard. She's expecting you. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm under attack. I am under attack. They found me again. You put McLovin down in the water and it comes up perchy instantly. Think that perch wanted it? Thunk. Right through the forehead. So imagine for a second you're a fish and you're like, hey, what is that cool looking thing bouncing along on the bottom? I'm gonna go try and eat it, and then all of a sudden you got a hook right up through. Oh. Seriously, could you imagine that? I think I'm not a fish. All right, well, that was a fish, so it earned another cast. So I legitimately, by letter of the law, which doesn't always happen with me, but listen, that's neither here nor there. Moving on. Ipso facto. Oh, I started to talk politics there very briefly. And I'm not really talking politics, but I will say that I saw within 2 days of him becoming president-elect, the domino list of things that have started to happen, I must say, was incredibly impressive. And if all of that is true, which I hope to God it is, we're going to be instantly back on the right track. I shouldn't say that like that. We're going to be instantly headed in a better direction. There you go. And it seems like we already are headed in that better direction for all of us collectively. The people in these places that are dying, my God. We in this country have no conceptual idea of what that even means or looks like. I'm out here on a Sunday morning talking to you guys about nonsense and fishing and whatever, and I'm free to come out here and do this, and you're free to go and sit and watch me and do whatever you're going to do today on a Sunday, from watch football to go fishing to hunting to whatever it is that we all do and that we take for granted, like it is our God-given right to do those things, where there's a lot of people in a lot of places on this planet that have none of that, whether it be opportunity, ability, or anything. So there's my 2-second political rant. We, first of all, need to stop being so entitled in this country and wake up. Prosperity is the greatest form of cure-all there is. That's the greatest medicine that's ever invented. Mass prosperity. How amazing does that sound? Take care of your own. And then, when and if you have the means and you have the excess to help those in need, absolutely you do that 1,000 times over. You open your arms if needed, or you open your pocketbook if needed. 1,000%. But you cannot do that at the expense of your own. It doesn't make sense that you would even want to. You can't value something. You can't value another more than your own when you're talking about the country. You can't. It simply doesn't work that way. Well, McLovin's on his 5th cast. You guys are talking, and I'm not counting, and I was only supposed to be one. See what you guys do? But so now I want to see that list grow of positive things that are happening for us all in the United States of America. Wow, how's this for all American? Man, I've been surrounded by the land of the Dinks today. He's not much bigger than the lure he just ate. Alright, well, that's it. I got one more rod, one more cast. If you're familiar with the plastics color swim bait or smallmouth magic, it's got a two-tone. It's pale in the belly and kind of a greenish iridescent in the back color. It looks it's a good looking color. Works in the Great Lakes great. Works anywhere, but works in the Great Lakes really well. It looks like an emerald shiner. This particular one, I think it's a Strike King version. I'll show you when I bring it in. It has amazing iridescence in the top, in the back color. You got every once in a while you got to look back over your shoulder. You hear one of these waves coming. Sounds like a train. You're like, all right, I better see what's happening here. I feel like this deserves another cast. You can see that iridescence in there. I love that. That is I even like that color head. That's a lavender color head. This is a very popular color. So this is a B hammer tackle hammerhead, hammerhead jig head in the lavender color. In this, that used to be a very, very popular blade and jig color out here when I was a kid back in the 70s and 80s. Brian and I are in that same generation. I think that's his little ode to the old school guys out here. I guess this is the last cast. Boo! If I was smashing them, I wouldn't leave, but I'm not. I just don't seem to be finding them. I think sometimes my own fishing success is merely a process of my own positive or negative thinking about everything, not just fishing. All right, I'm going to give it one more cast because I did have weeds on it, so it really didn't get a real fair chance, to perform to the most of its capabilities. Fulfilling its destiny in its utmost fashion, triumphantly. All right, everybody, I'm putting her away. Excalibur is going back in her sheath. Have a great Sunday. Let's go Dolphins.